Today's devotion is written by Alexis Collins and read by Danielle Kelly. God's Vindication. Today I heard, I can't take you into this next season if you're holding on to so much from your last season. I don't always understand myself when I have suffered a loss. I recently suffered the loss of a wrongful termination, and with it, I lost my self-worth and confidence, which was tied to me doing everything right and still not being liked and judged for being too kind and loving. I'm experiencing the shame that comes with unemployment. I count down the days since I received the call of my termination on May 18th and wait for the Lord to vindicate me. Speaking of vindication, what does it look like for the Lord to vindicate me? Honestly, this is a question I've always had. Anytime I'm wrongfully harmed, I want to understand why God's vindication always looks so sweet compared to what I think the people who have hurt me deserve. I feel like I trust God only to be humiliated. But when I pause, take a deep breath, and repeat the word humiliated, I ask, who am I humiliated by? Humiliated means to make someone feel ashamed and foolish by injuring their dignity and self-respect, especially publicly. I will never see the people who wrongfully terminated me again. I won't see the people I worked with who knew it was wrong and stood up for me. My chapter with these people ended. What if I wasn't humiliated? What if the enemy was telling me this to distract me from humility? Humility and humiliation are different concepts from the same root word, humus, which means earth or ground. Humility is an attitude that comes from within, such as having a modest opinion of one's own importance, knowing that you're no better or worse than anyone else, or realizing that you're not in control. Humility can be conscious and can't be forced by others or external situations. For example, someone might humble themselves by saying, "Thy will, not mine, be done," or realizing that the ocean's currents and the stars at night are the Creator's work. I needed the door to close so I could move on. Sometimes we're forced to move on from a place where we're too comfortable or loyal to move on our own. God had to disrupt my process to allow Thy will to be done in my life. His will for His word to go forth to all the nations and for all to hear the good news. When those reject what they hear, we can dust off our feet and move on. Maybe my work was done at my previous job and I planted enough seeds. I was rejected for the Lord's sake. Now it's time to dust my feet and move on to the next journey. Every hard thing that happens to us isn't necessarily bad. Yes, I wanted revenge and answers at the moment, but as I wait for the Lord to provide a better opportunity and another place to spread the gospel, I will wait in expectancy, knowing God will never leave or forsake me. He has always been with me, even in the rejection of man. Jesus was hated without reason, and so will we at times. We can't let this take away our faith and hope in Christ, because suffering produces good character. This wasn't an attack on me, but what I had inside of me. So I will bless my enemies and pray for those who have tried to harm me, for they know not what they do. This is God's vindication, how I see Him in persecution. I remember that long suffering is also a fruit of the Spirit, which produces good things in me. I hope these scriptures encourage you as you wait for God's vindication in your life. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ, for the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong he has done, and there is no partiality. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 through 25. Instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and an everlasting joy will be yours. For I, the Lord, love justice. I hate robbery and wrongdoing. In my faithfulness, I will reward my people and make an everlasting covenant with them. Isaiah chapter 61, verse 7 and 8.